This is not the Church of Immanuel, Christ of Latter-day Saints, Joseph Smith. This is the Church of Jesus Christ. When we remove the Lord's name, Immanuel, from the name of his church, we inadvertently remove him as the central focus of our worship and our lives.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. I have 25 minutes to see how much I can get of Trialed Faith's comments. And it'll most likely just be a recording, as I've got shopping to do today. Some errands to run. And so this might not get put up until later this afternoon. I noticed that there's a few more people who've added comments. So understand I hold all comments for review. And so Christy Huddleston, I do see you. But no, Utah is not a sheltered community. It's a prison. It's a prison camp. Alrighty. And so I'm confident that Trialed Faith was not flagged by YouTube. So I won't see what those are. So we'll start with the oldest first. Alright, in a fury, Mormons nick the pricks. He responds with, "Great to know, I will check out the video in the reply." Okay. I must have put a video in the description below and I mentioned it in that video. I don't memorize what I say. There's no script. Whatever comes to the top of my head, I share with you. And for those of you who are brand new for some reason, well, we do know why. YouTube. The social media scandal is now calling for a change in the algorithms that Nelson paid so much with. Do us a favor, though, back in 2019, to purposely cause this mess, which resulted in teenage girls committing suicide because of all the bullies that I had to scroll way down to get to Trialed Faith's comments. And he has a lot of them, or she has a lot of them. I don't have an idea if female, male, don't know. And so I think he's asking, he's asking, I don't, if I call you he and you're a she, don't be offended. I don't know who you are. I mean, check. Let's check. See if there's any clues on your channel. No. But yeah, you are Mormon, and you are all of a sudden realizing that the church has been lying to us. You're new, brand new, from last year, March 17th, my birthday. And you have church videos, which are shorts. 7 short videos, or 14 short videos. And you're kind of popular because you're catering to those who want faith promotion. And so, yeah, I'm trying to get an understanding from where your level of knowledge is. Virgo's biblical interpretation. Please tell me you're not an astrotheologist. That is not science. Can you doubt your salvation? Adventists and Jews can't what? Muslims and Mormons can't what? Yeah. In order to understand MAGA, you've got to understand the WWE. What? 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 Stone Cold 316. So who will come and take us out of bondage? Amen. Yeah, the Mormon Christ. And so since you're brand new and you're most likely going to be asking questions about Basic 101 learning of the Jews, Joseph Smith, Book of Mormon stuff, I am born in the covenant, raised up in Brigham Young's branch off. We were never told as kids that we were a branch off. We were told that we were the one true church, and there were apostates who didn't want to join. And so, over time, because the church had taught me in my youth to study, not read, ponder, pray, get a feeling. We were told to study. I was the first generation, the first semester of seminary that used the brand new quad in 1981, which was 81 and 82, because I turned 12 in 82, to have that be my first semester. And is it or is it 14? It was the first year. So it came out in 1981. So I don't know, I'm struggling with math at the moment. And so, yeah, they taught us how to study using the Bible dictionary, topical guide, and the footnotes. And so as I was doing that, I realized that the footnotes are crap. What the hell? And so I was doing it myself. Because of my associative memory, thanks to Sesame Street, one of these things is not like the other. As I just instinctively used that, because I got fed up with all the memorization. 1 + 1 is what? Oh, man, I have to memorize that? Obviously, that got harder over the years, and that's why I got fed up with all the memorization. Because we're using textbooks with all the answers. Why do I need to memorize and just regurgitate on tests? That's stupid. Why can't I just have the book for my collection, and when I need to find the answer, I look up the book? A reference. And so I taught myself associative memory as a little kid. And so when it came time to studying scriptures, yeah, associative memory. I can identify doctrinal principles and even story patterns with other scriptures, and not just in the quad. The scriptures that were denied even. And so that turned out to be exactly what is required. And the church picked me up and utilized me for the revision of the footnotes in the 2000s for the 2009 Spanish release, with the guide to the scriptures that was used instead. And so, very faithful as I went on to get an education in generally the anthropology of the ancient Middle East. The guidance counselor created 2 bachelors and a minor for me to graduate, and so she didn't really know the subject matter and whatever, but that's what it is, anthropology of the ancient Middle East. as I supplemented it when I moved to Utah in 1996, being forced by my dad, who acted exactly like a MAGA bully, white supremacist bully from my peers. They caused the problem through bullying and abuse and crime, and then they victim blame when the victim tries to stand up for themselves and say no. And the bullying behavior not only victim blames, but then they claim that they're the victim of the actual victims. Bullying 101. And so yeah, my dad was doing that. He caused my condition, and then tried to victim blame me, and so I was forced into the University of Utah, and as the guidance counselor there told me that there was a Hebrew bachelor's. Nope. It's Arabic. There's a big difference between Arabic and Hebrew. They just tricked me to be forced to take Arabic classes. And so yeah, I abandoned that and went to some old standby favorites that I had at the University of Lethbridge with the anthropology of the ancient Middle East, and found Eva Vasilevska as well, and she's awesome. I recommend buying her book, Creation Stories of the Ancient Middle East, I think it is. She was a part of those who had discovered Yah, the Hebrew God, as a male, anthropomorphic male. So it's porn. Just like Moroni, the name replaced by Willard Richards. They know her. Creation Stories of the Middle East, Eva Vasilevska. And she told us at the beginning of her classes that, don't worry trying to pronounce my name. But knowing Hebrew, yeah, it was easy for me. And so yeah, $40, well worth it. It is an actual science book. She is well credited. She was the only female and American archaeologist allowed in Saddam Hussein's Iraq. And he even provided her with his own guards while she was doing her archaeological digs. And you need to understand there are a lot of robberies out there trying to sell stuff on eBay and online. And they're trying to find them and bring them back. And so, yeah, there's a big financial scam online with antiquities all over the world. And so, yeah, they would get violent to steal the stuff. So, yeah, she is prominent. And the University of Utah got her, and they treated her like crap. God. So, Creation Stories of the Middle East. I don't know if I'll remember to put it in the description below because we're already running out of time. I'm down to less than 10 minutes now. And I haven't even gotten to any of your comments other than this first one. But yeah, the Book of Mormon, 1 Nephi chapter 1, verse 2, learning of the Jews. Which means it's not the Christian religion, it's not the Christian Christ, it's not the Christian interpretation. It's nothing Christian. And so you need to know what the Jewish religion is, the Jewish Christ is, and the Jewish interpretation is. And in the Book of Mormon, it's pre-Babylonian captivity. So it's not the modern day Jews, which were assimilated into Babylon, and then assimilated into Greece, and then assimilated into Rome, and then assimilated into Constantine, which is why Joseph Smith is saying what he's saying in the King Follett sermon, that biblical Hebrew is wrong, because it's Constantine influenced, and thus Elohim needs to be plural all the way through. And yes, it will ruin the Bible. Or rather, shall we say, correct it. Translate it correctly. To be the Word of God. And so, part of my main degree at the University of Lethbridge involved biblical Hebrew, where I learned all this from, and the teacher is the prominent student of Thomas O. Lambden, whose Hebrew alphabet and grammar was at the time worldwide. Everybody used him to learn Hebrew. And that's an expensive book. And there have been others that have tried to come along. I recall the University of Utah didn't want to use Thomas O. Lambden and tried some new guy. But he taught us the origin of Paleo-Hebrew, at least the script. And he showed us a couple of clues that scholars were working with but couldn't figure out how to develop it into a theory to run tests to decipher Paleo-Hebrew. Nobody had deciphered Paleo-Hebrew, despite what William Foxwell Albright claims. Dear God, it's just a little pamphlet. A little tiny pamphlet. That's all. And it's all wrong. And he's prominent. Everybody uses him for their knowledge of Paleo-Hebrew. And it's wrong. Blatantly, obviously wrong. For anybody who simply looks and does one of these things is not like the other. The whole book is not like the other. It's just humiliatingly embarrassing for such a prominent so-called scholar to make such a horrible error. And it was Sir Alan Gardner who told him to make that error. Told him to use the acronym theory. No, you can't do that. That's not science. Dear God, and he's a sir with his Egyptian alphabet and grammar. Dear God. And so, yeah, guess what happened next after I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew? I went on to decipher the learning of the Egyptians in the language of the Egyptians, because there's a whole bunch of signs missing, not just from Gardner's sign list, which is actually the smallest of the sign lists. Budge is much larger, but nobody gave Budge any credit. Just watch Stargate. But even he is missing a whole bunch of stuff. There is one guy who tried to reorganize the Egyptian sign lists, and his books are well done. I highly approve of those. I'd have to find them because I don't recall the name, and I don't want to go searching because I'm now down to 5 minutes. And so this is going to be the intro that I'll be recording, and then I'll come back and maybe we can do this as a separate video all by itself, just one comment at a time. We'll see. But I did answer this question. And so that is Amen. And it's the Egyptian deity, the sun god at noonday, most prominent during the 18th dynasty of Egypt. of the David Moseses, Tawut Moshe, phonetically transliterated into Paleo-Hebrew, and thus deciphering Paleo-Hebrew was the key to deciphering actual Egyptian, which had not been deciphered, even though you believe that Jean Champollion is the one who deciphered Egyptian. No, he deciphered the Rosetta Stone. It's the learning of the Greeks' language of the Egyptians. See, Greek is an alphabet, Egyptian is not. So there's a big difference with Egyptian, and no Egyptologist knows it. Until me. So I am a big deal, even though Mormons don't want to admit it, and critics don't want to admit it, because it means Joseph Smith is a translator. And Joseph Smith can't be a translator because the church has to be false. And everybody misses the big issue that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is covering up. And we've got, I need to remember to put this in the video, 2 months, 2 days. The big 9/11 event that everybody's waiting for, and only those who are going to cause it know of the date of it. Whereas the rest of the world only know, no man knows the day or the hour. It's right there in the text. Some knucklehead put it in. To cause confusion, and denialism began. And so that's Amen. That's Joseph Smith's Christ. And both the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith's own words reveal to us that it is in the learning of the Jews, Deuteronomy 18:15 through 19. There are certain key scriptures that you need to know and have referenced. Joseph Smith's second vision refers to it as he's talking about our Christ. He says that's our Christ. And that's the Jewish Christ. It's not the Christian Christ, so it's not Jesus. And so, yes, the Jews, during the Greeks, had the Greek name Jesus of the Hebrew Joshua. You know, that doesn't mean it's Christian. It was before Christianity was created by Constantine. They stole it and changed everything. That's the abomination that Joseph Smith is talking about in the first vision. And so it's a human being. It's not some supernatural deity that has magical powers and and forces obedience. And so that's where I come from. That's the channel that I'm doing here. That's what I've been doing videos all these years for, and trying to warn Mormons of the danger of Brigham Young's church. They're lying to us. What are they covering up? Why are they covering it up? That's what Mormons and critics who leave the church are not asking. And so it's been a frustrating time trying to get people's attention because the countdown's on. So, alrighty. This is the first video for you, and I'll get to it when I come back.